Am I live on the Facebook? It says I'm live. Team Aimee, will you let me know that I'm live on Facebook now? It looks like it's up and running. Okay, so as I was saying, today is the day where it's going to be an Ask Me Anything day, and that is amazing. And you get to ask me anything about this book and following this diet. You cannot ask me about your cases or about supplements. Well, maybe as it pertains to the diet. And my team is here refereeing, if you will. So, questions that do not pertain to the diet, I will not answer. We can do that in another Ask Me Anything. But today is the Ask Me Anything about the egg quality diet. We get so many questions on email about this diet, and I wanted to come to you with the opportunity to support you and guide you through it because, things I'm going to just talk until I start seeing questions come in. And Facebook, I promise I'm looking for your questions too. I don't see anything yet. Things that come up all the time about this diet is it's so hard. Do I have to remove, I can't imagine not eating all these things for the rest of my life. And the first thing I think of is you didn't read the whole book because it's an elimination diet. And what that means is you eliminate and then you add back in. And so the first 50 days of the diet, I'm not going to lie, they're intense. Hence the reel that we posted on social media yesterday about this live of I never said I was nice. I never said I was nice. I think I'm almost wearing the same outfit in that reel. The first 50 days you are eliminating, right? But it is an elimination diet. There's phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4. And that is intentional. And what you do in phase 2 and phase 3 is you're eliminating a lot of the most common culprits in inflammation in your body, the most common culprits that are causing your gut to not be healthy, the most common culprits that are causing your hormones to be imbalanced, the most common culprits that are causing your egg quality to be poor or your hormones to be out of whack, your FSH to be high, your AMH to be low. And then in phase 4, and it's clearly stated, so I know I sound like I have a little bit of an attitude, but between my coaches, my clients, all of you guys who email us, I find it frustrating sometimes that have you gone and read chapter phase 4, page 147? Have we read it? And then where I go clearly, I think clearly, easy, so crystal clear into how to reintroduce foods. Sorry, page 141. How to reintroduce foods. Really, I break it down. But so you understand that the whole point of the egg quality diet is for you to learn the best diet that works for you and your fertility. It is not that you have to be off of nuts and nightshades for the rest of your life. Okay? Is that I hope that's clear. With this book comes a ridiculously incredible, valuable resource page as well, where there's a ton of videos on there to support you doing the diet. I see one question so far, so I'm going to go and answer that. Oh, yeah. So my team said the most common question, why is Aimee's liver support soup green? Mine is always red from the beets. My liver support soup is green. So if you watch the video that I posted on the resources page, or if you saw the liver support soup hack sheet, you would know the reason mine is always green is I add an entire bag of spinach. And I also am not really, I don't like to follow rules. That means I don't really like to follow recipes, even my own recipes. And so what I do for simplification is I do 2 whole heads of dandelion greens, 1 whole, whatever that is, whole batch of parsley, 1 whole, whatever you buy at the store. I don't just take a couple sprigs. I literally take off the stems, drop the whole thing in. So a whole thing of cilantro, a whole thing of parsley, 2 whole things of dandelion greens, then the beets, then the carrots. I have it memorized because I make it a lot. Beets, carrots, garlic, ginger, turmeric, salt, lemon. Am I missing anything? I steam everything except for the ginger, turmeric, lemon, and garlic I put in the blender. There is a whole video. But so I steam all that. You know, the beets are already cooked. I buy the pre-cooked beets because they're organic and why not? And then I add an entire bag of uncooked spinach. I steam that as well. Then I blend it with some bone broth and some water. And that is why my liver support soup is green. Another question. Let's see. What brands of sausages do you suggest, as I've found none that are compliant? Yeah, so there are a few breakfast sausages that are compliant that do not have any of the nightshades or the spices in them. The one brand, now I have reintroduced, so I can have some of the sausages because I've done the introductions. Not everybody is. But I do believe we have this somewhere in a resource, don't we, Beth? So there's this maple breakfast sausage. The Belinsky's Organic is the one that I will do, their breakfast one. And let's see, you can also buy just like the ground pork or the ground turkey like sausage from the ones without seasonings from, where do I order my meat from? U.S. Wellness Meats, and do it that way. The Applegate Farm chicken apple sausage, I think that has some of the spices in there. But there is the savory turkey sausage from Applegate. There's a couple that are AIP compliant. So what you do is just Google AIP compliant sausages because there's a bunch showing up right here. But I do find that the ones that are like not in the links, not kind of pre-made, that are just like loose sausage meat, those tend to be the best because they don't have the seasonings besides the salt. Some do have black pepper. I'm following your protocol, but I'm curious, during my 2-week wait, can I still be drinking the liver support smoothies during this time? So the liver support, yeah, it's turned into a soup, right? So it's meant to be drank hot, not cold. I don't, and I talk about that too, I don't love cold raw anytime, not just during the 2-week wait. We recommend for smoothies that you're blanching your greens, so the smoothie is more room temperature, or at the minimum that you're letting it sit and come to room temperature before drinking it. For the liver support soup though, 100% pregnancy safe. So in the 2-week wait, 100% safe. Let's see, I want to just make sure. Okay. Almond butter was the only food that triggered me during reintroduction, but almond milk did not. This has always puzzled me. Any thoughts as to why? Yeah, I think it's because almond milk is actually like sieved through the sleeve, so you're not getting any of the outside, like the outside skin is where a lot of the lectins are contained, and that can be very triggering. So I'm similar. I can't do almond butter. I can't do raw almonds. I can't do whole almonds, but I have coconut almond milk every morning in my tea, and I'm perfectly fine. There was a while I couldn't even have the milk, and now I think I've healed my gut enough that I can actually have the milk. Okay, thank you so much for your time. Oh, you're welcome, my love. Almost 1 year after following your diet, my most recent lab draw revealed a normal FSH of 3.58, which is down from 17 last summer, July. That's fucking amazing, Tanya. Congratulations. That's fucking amazing. So this is an awesome blurb to share on social right here. 1 year after following egg quality diet, my FSH dropped by 13 points. So you're 1 year older and you have a lower FSH. It's amazing. How will I be able to optimize my ability to get and stay pregnant with the diet in your egg quality and better egg quality? I plan on buying the book this summer. So the best, like how I would describe it and kind of what the subtitle says, a clinically proven 100-day fertility diet to balance hormones, reduce inflammation, optimize your ability to get and stay pregnant. So in my brain, really how the diet works is because we're doing a few things. We're improving nutrient absorption, which will then help everything work better in your body because your body's getting everything it needs. We're giving you good quality fats. The fats are critical to hormone synthesis. Cholesterol is the precursor to every single hormone in your body. You need good quality fats to make good quality hormones and good quality eggs. When you give yourself both of these things, improving nutrient absorption, good quality fats, you're going to improve that uterine lining, you're going to improve the uterine receptivity. You're also reducing inflammation and you're healing the gut, which regulates the immune system. A lot of women that are having difficulty getting and staying pregnant have immune system dysregulation. Some need the diet plus an autoimmune protocol from a reproductive immunologist. A lot, though, the diet works wonders. So, in a nutshell, that's how I would see it and say it. So frustrated with everything right now. This links to what I eat and my reintroduction. Should I start over now that I am experiencing hard stuff? I don't really understand the question. This links to what I eat and my reintroductions. Should I start over now that I'm experiencing some hard stuff? So I'm not sure I'm understanding the question, but I do want to say this. We get this question a lot. Like, I did phase 1, I did phase 2, I'm in phase 3, or I was in phase 2, and I had some missteps, or I had to travel, I was off the diet, I fell off the diet. Do I have to go back to phase 2 and start over again? And for those of you that work with me or the coaches on my team, you know what our answer is. I usually don't say you have to go back and redo phase 2 unless you really want to. I do phase 2 once in a while just because I feel very good on it, and I do feel like it's a nice reset for me. But what I usually say is, if you've been doing the diet and you had some setbacks, or you went off the diet and you saw some flare-ups in your symptoms, just go back to the beginning of phase 3. You're more than welcome to do phase 2, but I don't think you need to. So that's a judgment call for you to make for yourself. Everybody's different. But I think just going back to the beginning of phase 3, which is still super clean eating, we haven't reintroduced anything, kind of eliminate all the things you reintroduced, because a lot of people do, they rush the reintroductions. And I go over that very clearly on page 141 in the book, how not to rush the reintroductions, how to do it properly. So go back to phase 3. Even if you just stay in phase 3 for 2 weeks, get things calmed down, like listen to your red flag symptoms, the kinks in your body, listen to all those. When you feel good and ready, you can try reintroductions again. But don't beat yourself up. You are human. You're having a human experience. We all deviate from the diet at times, and they're good learning experiences for most of us. So please be easy on yourself. And just know that you're human, and you're going to do the best you can do. But just, you can go back to phase 3. And if you have reintroduced some things successfully, then I don't think you need to remove them again. It's the things that you just haphazardly reintroduce, and then maybe now you had a flare up, okay? Okay, I see some likes from you, IVF, the woman who asked this. So I'm hoping that answers your question. Yeah. Oh, okay. Now I see my team posted the question. Yes, exactly. Do I have to start over? No. Okay. Brands are regional. What's available to us locally wouldn't be available everywhere in the company. That's right. So read the ingredient list. When we see the California Prop 65, okay, so that's not an egg quality diet related question, my love. So I'm not going to answer that one right now. Is it okay to skip snacks and do the 3 big meals? I have PCOS and my blood sugar spikes if I eat too often. So that's a great question, and this is where like the individualization of the diet is really important. So if you are using a continuous glucose monitor and you see that you are spiking, I think you have to listen to your body to manage that. Remember, I write a book, and it has to be general because it has to work for the majority of the population out there. So I still think with PCOS, but again, everybody's different. And if you're using a continuous monitor, you're going to know better than I do. But generally speaking, with PCOS, more than 3 hours without some sort of protein does a number on the sugars. So I tend to say I don't want you going more than, like, I really say 2 to 3 hours, but max 3 to 4 hours without some sort of protein, even if it's just a little sip of broth, right? What I tend to see spike the sugars, if I'm really paying attention, like I have one woman right now I'm working with who's using the continuous glucose monitor, it's the sweet potatoes. They're just screwing with her. even if she has it with an egg, it's just too much, whatever, the healthy carbs, spikes, or sugars. So we're actually having to take the sweet potatoes out. So I do think the snacks are really important because I do think, and I just did a TikTok on this that got a lot of views and likes, but I do think a number one issue with women trying to conceive is they don't eat enough. They go too long between meals. They don't eat enough protein, they don't eat enough fat, but they don't eat enough in general. And I know me, when I'm super go, go, go in my, my work life, my home life, I can skip meals. And so it's like really a critical thing for me to come back. Like I always have to have like a snack somewhere for me to keep my blood sugar even and my hormones balanced. But again, if you're doing a continuous glucose monitor and you are really seeing the difference, then I would maybe try a different snack. Altogether, just go straight up protein, no carbs in that snack, even with healthy carbs. See if that has a difference, or a little bit of broth, okay? But I do think skipping, going too long between meals, like I have girls, they're going 5-7 hours between meals, and it is no good for hormones. Okay. I've done the diet for over 4 months, got pregnant for the third time, just got HCG back, not rising. This is the third loss in 9 months. Is this diet just not working for me? I would say, well, you're getting pregnant. I'm super sorry for your losses. That sucks. Ass. It sucks. If you're getting pregnant, I don't think the diet is not working for you. I think there's something more going on. I think there's either endometritis, an endometrial lining infection that you need to be tested for. I think there could be an autoimmune condition that needs to be medically treated with like Lovenox, steroids, baby aspirin. I think you should look into the Pregmune, PREGMUNE.com. That's where I would, if you were working with me, that's the first place I would send you. I would consider a baby aspirin in my luteal phase. I've worked with recurrent pregnancy loss too much, to be honest, too much. And all my cases typically have some sort of autoimmune condition that's going on. The diet is a huge game changer for them, but some of them need additional medical support. So you need to see a reproductive immunologist. We have lists of doctors on my website. I would also look at the book, Is Your Body Baby Friendly, for testing that should be done. And you might have to search out the right doctor for you. A lot of docs don't recognize recurrent pregnancy loss as an issue, especially if you're under the age of like 38. They're just kind of like, oh, it's bad luck. And then if you're older, actually, they're like, oh, well, it's your egg quality. It's your egg quality. Having multiple losses without a live birth in between is not egg quality only. There is an immune system issue going on. So it also could be you need longer on the diet. You need more time to heal your gut. I've seen in some cases where it's 1.5 years on the diet. So that's the other thing too. But I don't think the diet isn't working for you. And I know that sounds like easy for me to say because obviously I preach the diet, but this diet has been around. It's called autoimmune paleo. Mine has some tweaks specifically for fertility where the macronutrients are balanced and there's Chinese medicine influences in there. But in a case like this where you're having multiple losses, there is 100% an immune system issue going on. And/or a clotting factor issue, likely both, and you need additional treatment, but I would still continue on the diet. And it could also be that you stay on the diet and in a year it's going to start working, but that's too many losses for you. So I would strongly recommend getting more support. Thank you for doing the Q&A. Can the egg quality diet help an unidentified autoimmune condition? 100%. All of your pictures of liver support super green when I make it. Okay, so I already answered this question. So when we're done, you're going to go back and watch the beginning because it was one of the first questions. But the short of the answer is, A, there's a video that I make and I explain exactly what I do. And the video is on the resources page from the Egg Quality Diet. So I urge you to watch that. B, I add a whole bag of spinach and I add 2 big heads of dandelion greens and I add the entire head of cilantro and the entire head of parsley, hence why mine is green. And my team already came back and told you that. Is it normal that I feel full after drinking green tea with Vital Proteins Collagen during breakfast? Yeah, because it's like 10 grams of protein. I'm the same way. Like I have my tea with the Vital Proteins in there and my coconut milk, so I get my fat and my protein. and then I work out, and then I don't eat till like 10 o'clock because I'm having my tea at like 8. I don't eat a meal, and then it satiates me. It gives me, and it is a good way to start with protein. What's your take on healing, shrinking, removing fibroids naturally? My doctor says I need surgery. I would love to try. So again, this, because it's anti-inflammatory, so it will help. We've seen fibroids shrink. We've seen cysts shrink. I would also add in castor oil packs, but the diet would really help. Can you do just the all liquid part of the diet when you are already doing IVF during stims or priming? That's a good question. I don't think it's enough calories. So if phase 2 winds up being while you're stimming, I would not do the all liquid days. I would do the other days where there's meals. Does that make sense? That's what I would do. I would skip those all liquid days. And you can do them another time, or just go into early phase 3 because you're stimming. I want you to have more calories. You need a bit more calories and fat. That phase 2, and those liquid days are only 4 days for a reason, because it's like the lowest calorie section of the book. And I'm not for low calorie by any means. I'm for nutrient dense calories. I've been having irregular periods. I'm 42, so it could be perimenopause. Would this diet help with that? Yes. What are your thoughts on the brand Vital Proteins Collagen? There's controversy now with this brand. There's some, I think, autoimmune paleo controversy because they're adding ascorbic acid, and apparently it's from corn that's non-GMO or is GMO or something like that. So if you have an autoimmune, there's probably other brands that could be better for you. Just you want to look. But there's like, and my team might know the better answer to this. I think the smaller bins don't have it. The bigger bins have it. Something like that. But I still use Vital Proteins. Can the egg quality diet be used as preparation for embryo transfer in the 2-week wait? 100%. How do you handle staying on the diet while traveling? That's a good one. And I see Facebook questions, so I promise I'm going to get to you guys next. While traveling. So prep. I also think like phase 2 is short. So don't plan that during your travel times. Like if you're going to travel and you're starting this diet, I would just start when you get back personally, or just stay in phase 1 longer because you fully eliminated, and then don't start phase 2 until you get back and you can really prep and prepare. Phase 2 is only 11 days, so you can find another time for that. And then phase 3, I mean, personally, but I've been doing this a long time. I find it's not that hard. I just really have to prepare. And when I travel, I'm more of like an Airbnb style girl, or rather than a hotel, or if we're staying with family, I ship things. I'll ship my peptides. I'll ship my snacks, my bone broth. Like that's the kind of stuff that I do. Some people don't feel super comfortable doing that. I respect that. So then I would say you do the best you can do. You avoid the big nose, the gluten, the dairy, the soy, right, as best you can, the sugar, that kind of stuff. And I just, like, if I'm out to eat and I don't want to be, high maintenance for anyone, then I am just getting a very plain protein, typically a fish, unless I know that they have grass-fed meat or pastured, chicken or pork. I'll get a good quality fish and some steamed greens. And I will say to the restaurant staff, sometimes I do it and I just say I'm going to the bathroom, and I go pull my waiter aside and I say, I have a gluten, dairy, and soy allergy. I will use those words, and then I know I am safe. Other things I'll do is I pick the restaurants. I do that a lot. I pick the restaurants so I know I can get what I need. I have my places. I'll do research. I'll like research where I can order from when I'm there. So it takes extra work. It does, but if there's planning involved and prep, you can pretty much do it. And I just bring my snacks. I bring my plantain chips. I'll bring my pork rinds. Like if you reintroduce all the ingredients in those. I'll bring my little paleo power balls, the ones that are, phase 3 compliant. I'm just trying to think. We just traveled. So, of course, I had my coconut milk. I traveled with my collagen peptides. I traveled with bone broth. I actually had some shipped. But I also found a place that had it, so. And then there's times where I give myself grace, where I'm human and I'm just going to do the best I can do, and that's that, right? So, and if you travel a lot, I think then that's where it becomes complicated. I know during COVID, it was a lot easier for a lot of people to like really nail down this diet. But to think about it like that, of like, we have the on the go snack lists. Like I would look at all those. I would just try my best. Um, okay. Have you heard of anyone being bloated after eating beets? No, but doesn't mean it can't happen. I would look, like, make sure that they were just plain, and that they were fully cooked, and that maybe beets don't agree with you, and that's okay. Can the egg quality diet help others with psoriasis? And my aunt and cousin want to support me on the diet 100%. Psoriasis is definitely a sign of inflammation and gut health issues, and that's what the egg quality diets do. Thank you for your whole team for doing this. Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you for giving us credit like that. I really appreciate that, because to be honest, sometimes we get some really shitty emails from people that are like, and not very nice. And so it's very nice to get gratitude to receive that. So thank you. I really am receiving that. I hope my team is as well. Do you recommend taking fish oil, liver, omega, or is that too much vitamins? No, we're talking about today, my love. I was constipated when eating the squash soup and beet soup daily. Is this common? So in the beginning of the diet, when you cut out all grains, it is very common to get constipated. It's the most common side effect we see. And then by phase 3, when you start reintroducing the fruit again, people start pooping again. Not that you're constipated for all 11 days. It's just a little harder to go. Can we just stay in phase 3 and continue introducing dairy and continue with introducing dairy and gluten? You can. I have very strict parameters about what kind of dairy and what kind of gluten. So please follow those, because not all gluten or dairy is created equal, and really pay attention. So some people can reintroduce dairy and gluten and be perfectly fine. And that's awesome if you are one of those people. So you try it and see. Okay, thank you, Beth. I do cover traveling in the videos on the resources page. Okay, I'm going to go over to Facebook here, because I don't want to ignore them. I just want to repeat this one too. 1 year after following the diet, my FSH dropped from a 17 to a 3.58. And I answered that one. I'm not going to answer that one. This is an expression of appreciation. My AMH is still very low, and I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, but I know I wouldn't be here without your invaluable information. My doctor is prescribing 25 milligrams of Synthroid, and I feel my miracle baby coming soon. I love it. I'm excited for you, Tanya. A snack hack that works for me is a spoonful of organic homemade cashew butter. So again, as long as you've reintroduced cashews, that is a good snack. Does low-fat milk affect ovulation? It's not really part of this talk. I would just say low-fat, nothing. You eat full fat. Full fat. Low fat will impact your ovulation, because you need fat to make hormones, to ovulate, and to make babies. And yeah, I also addressed the cashew nut thing that you have. If you've reintroduced them, that is perfect. Tomasino, you're sweet to say sorry. And then let's just see. Did I miss anything? Okay. And then here, oh, you rock. You guys are the best. Thank you. Okay, did I get everything? Okay. I do the same thing. What is that? Okay. So I feel like I answered a lot of questions. I'm going to give you guys like another minute or two to come in and ask more if you want. But, the things that, like, to me, that are so important when it comes to the diet, and even if, say, we travel and we can't stick to it 100%, I just really, but even just in day-to-day life, and what I do at the end of every single day, just so you guys know, like, I fucking live this too, and this diet was dramatic for me with my eczema and some of my inflammatory conditions, is I just focus on 80 to 100 grams of protein a day, good quality, nutrient-dense protein, 6 to 8 servings of vegetables every day. And when I focus on 80 to 100 grams of good quality, nutrient-dense protein, I automatically, just because that nutrient-dense protein has a really good fat composition, I automatically get enough fat. So at the end of every day, I sit there in my head and I calculate, Like I know right now I didn't have vegetables yet. I've had a good amount of protein. I have not had vegetables. It's 12:34. So I got to play catch up. And I will. I'll catch up. I'll have 3 servings for lunch, and I'll have, maybe something like some liver support soup for a snack, and then I will have 2 to 3 servings for dinner, and I will be 100% caught up. But that is the approach. The 6 to 8 servings of vegetables, absolutely critical. Like everybody talks about antioxidants. You want to know the number one best antioxidant is vegetables. Nature's homemade antioxidants. That's the best way to improve egg quality. Most people, when they come to me, they are following a diet that's gluten, dairy, soy free. It's like a fertility diet, but they are not eating enough, and they have way too many processed grains. Even if they're gluten free, they're eating way too much added sugar. Even if it's organic sugar, they're not eating nearly enough vegetables, and period, they're just not eating enough, and not enough protein, not enough fat. Okay, let's see, any more questions pop in? Travel with own food and choose restaurants. Traveling game changer. Yes, I agree, my darling Carrie. Carrie is one of our coaches. I really appreciate you being on here and paying attention. I've been in the diet, but my testosterone levels went down almost undetectable before I had it at normal range. Any advice? Stress. Testosterone is a androgen. It comes from the adrenal glands. So it could be you're under more emotional stress. It could be the diet has stressed you out, which I could totally see that being part of it. It could also be you're not eating enough. A lot, like we only see negative impacts really on hormones in the egg quality diet. And like, mind you, I've been doing this diet like long before the book came out, right? So the book's now almost a year old. We should actually do like a 1-year party too. It's June 13th, my grandmother's birthday. The book's almost 1 year old, but I've been using this diet with patients for probably 5 or more years. The only time I see negative implications, well, there's a couple things. Like some people have histamine intolerances, some people have SIBO. We got to work that out. But when I see hormones drop or cycles get, like ovulation gets delayed or periods get lighter, they are not eating enough. And they are just not getting enough protein or fat in. They're following the diet, but they're not eating enough. And then also that the diet could make them very, I mean this lovingly, like really heady, because it's just paying attention to a lot of things. So figuring out like what works for you in your life. But when testosterone is low, I automatically think of the adrenal glands and stress hormones. And so then I would look at like, how's your sleep? How's your lifestyle, right? All the other factors that I talk about on the resources page that go with the egg quality diet, to look at all those other puzzle pieces too. Okay. I'm just going to see. Yeah, don't no one apologize for asking questions that weren't part of this if you didn't understand that it was just about the egg quality diet. It's okay. Don't apologize. We love you. We are here to support you. We're just trying to be efficient with my time. That's all. Yeah, okay, so I'm going to go, 12:37. I'll see you all later. I love you. Thank you so much for attending this. Thank you so much for your support with this book, with all of my work. I can't tell you how much it means to me. And, it's profound to help women and to see their lives shift and change and to see them have all their dreams come true. You guys deserve that. I am cheering for you. And if you love this book and you haven't yet, please go and leave a review for it on Amazon. It really helps me reach more women. And if you've had really positive impacts like Miss over here, Tanya, with your FSH, can you go write that on Amazon as a review? Just that alone will probably reach 1,000 more women. That is a huge fact, to just say my FSH dropped 13 points following this diet. Anyway, I send you guys lots of love. I'm cheering for you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you letting me be a part of your journey. And I want you to know, like, in sincerity, that I'm here. I'm cheering for you. And everything new I learn, I bring to you. And, yeah, I stand with you. Let's do this. I love you. Okay, have a beautiful day. Ciao for now.